Mikey Studios on the Cha-Cha Lot. Welcome one and all to Not Just A Guy, the show about by and for struggling storytellers. I'm your host, Not Just A Guy, the guy, Garrett Briones, joined by my co-host. What do you want to be called?
I don't know.
What do you want to be? Do you want this to be
I
called?
guess co-host is fine. I don't.
Not just a co-host, the co-host, Emily
Wow.
Cunningham. Whoa, we had such a good time doing last time's episode that I decided, hey, why don't you just join the show and just say, so I don't have to just talk to myself all the time and figure out.
It gets kind of boring after a while. I'm sure.
I thought you were saying it was boring.
No, I'm saying like after a while you kind of get bored.
It's hard to figure out things to talk about.
Well, because you don't have anything to bounce off of.
Yeah, so it's just it's been and hey, I mean the show is called Not Just A Guy, singular, so it's not just a guy now.
It's really not.
Yeah, so now you'll be on the show and talking about the show's still about by and for struggling storytellers, and it's just.
But now there's two struggling storytellers.
Two, and hopefully have some guests on soon to talk about their struggles. But what made you want to be on the show?
Sound like fun.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot. First time caller, long time fan. No, I don't know. I just thought that it would be kind of a fun thing to do with you.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I thought it was
fun.
Yeah, it's a big, so we just thought, it's hard to find time for stuff, and so we're like, hey, well, that's like at, 30 plus minutes we can carve out and just hang out and talk about life and stuff. I mean, obviously, talk about life more pertaining to our struggles as storytellers. Not necessarily, you don't need to know about what we're having for dinner on Tuesday. We're not going to get that nitty gritty. But yeah, I don't know. I'm probably going to the movies. I don't know. Right now, this episode hopefully doesn't seem too rushed. I don't know how long this episode's gonna be. We've got a lot of plates are spinning right now. A lot of things are going on. It's also very hot.
Things to do, people to see, and mothers to have their day.
Oh, okay. We didn't need a.
It's Mother's Day.
This is coming out the day after Mother's Day, though.
Well,
at the present, to date the episode.
At the current moment in time.
You didn't need to date the episode.
This is Mother's Day.
You didn't need to date the episode.
But we don't know when this is coming.
It's literally Mother's Day is already going to be done when this comes out. So you can nebulously talk.
Okay, never mind. This is not Mother's Day. It's not Mother's Day.
That when it comes out, it's not.
It is not Mother's Day. Okay.
But we are, still trying to get it in. It's like going to the gym. You still got to get it in. And so, what I wanted to ask you about is. What last week we talked about your job as a storyteller, like what you do, you're a struggling storyteller in your work. What are some? Let the people know what are some other avenues that you operate in as a storyteller? Because I've talked about I play D&D with friends. I obviously I'm doing the audio drama, things like that. But there's different avenues that I explore storytelling. What other storytelling avenues do you have going on in your life?
I just play a lot of games.
Yeah, but I mean, even in your games, you guys are telling stories. You're not just playing the game.
No, it gets really intense sometimes for it just being a video game. But it's pretty fun. Like a lot of the times, it's based off of it's almost like D&D, but you're not. Well, I can't even say that because sometimes people roll. Like I used to do that for mine. Yeah. Like people will do that. They'll make characters. So somebody took Red Dead Online and made it to where it was something that you could just keep playing, but to like a story level. Yeah. Like it would still had the same like gusto of like the actual game, but you weren't dealing with like people running around and just shooting each other and riding around on horses for fun. Like it actually had like merit. Like so that is what I do because it's fun. Yeah. And but it is very similar to D&D. The only thing is like. I guess the only difference would be, like, you just don't have any, like, stats. Like, you don't have, like, your strength and, like, your charisma or whatever. Like, that's just something that you just kind of, like, have meticulously in your head as you're going. But people do roll. Because I used to roll for my character. And that would just be, like, if you fell off your horse and you're like, oh, well, she would be clearly injured. So what you can do, because not everybody does this, but, like, what you can do is you would take a dice. And I used to have, I mean, I still have it, but, like, I had, like, a 20-sided die. I'd roll it on my desk, and, like, from 1 to 20, 20 being, like, that's it. Yeah. She's dead now. She has died. Yeah. You fell off your hoist and you're gone. Or like one being like, it was bruise. Yeah. Or like you're like, it's not even anything. So people do that and it is really cool. But now the one that I specifically am like involved in, it's crazy because the one that I've been involved in has been going for 5 years, which is like insane because a lot of, like specifically for the kind of stuff that I do, and like people do the same thing for like Grand Theft Auto. So it's like it's one for one, like they make these like public servers and stuff like that. This particular one for Red Dead is insane because not only have they've been going for 5 years, like this was never intended to be like this long of a stint. Yeah. Because all of that started, like people started doing that and doing like this like storytelling element with like Rockstar games in COVID. Yeah. Because there was nothing else going on, and that was like peak. Well, we're not going to do anything else, and nobody's making games because everybody's at home, and like all this stuff, like everything was shut down. So what were you going to do? So nobody ever thought that these were going to last as long as they have. And there's already like a big thing with like Rockstar, and they've already purchased, because it was a standalone thing, but now they've purchased it. No, but the one that I've been involved with that's been going for years now, it's basically like a AAA gaming studio. Yeah. Because they are like, I don't even know how you would go about doing this, but they have it to where they are able to code and like be game developers and make new things in the Red Dead base game to like manipulate it for like that server. It's really cool. Like they have now, funnily enough, they have a feature where you can roll in the game. So if you do like, there's like a little command center thing and you type like /roll and a whole like cool little thing pops up and it's like a really cool like animation, but they dev'd that. Yeah. So it's a trip because they've basically turned it into a whole different game. Yeah. For the one that I'm particularly with, but yeah, it's cool because that way, like for me, that's like kind of my outlet of being able to like keep telling stories in like the way that like you would write or like you would want to shoot like a short or something like that. For me, like that's fun for me because I also like I can take little things from that. Like another thing that I do is I take my clips from that game and post them on TikTok. They're really stupid. They're really dumb.
I think they're funny.
I mean, they're funny, but it's because they're dumb. Yeah. It's like I think that my best one that's been going is like there was like a bug where I like jumped off of something with my character and then she like did a flip and then just like pancaked and it's like that has like 1,500.
Of course.
But it's just like it's dumb stuff. Like it's not funny, and that's why like I love doing it because it's like dumb edits too, because that also is like keeping my like editing skills fresh and like keeping sharp. Yeah, so it's like I'm just constantly trying to find more ways of branching off to like kind of scratch that itch of like doing something creative and doing something that's like storytelling based. Yeah. And people like I'm only scratching the surface compared to like what some of the other people who play the same thing that I do. Yeah. Like some people have made like entire have made actual short films, like cinematic things. Yeah, so it's crazy what people can do with it. But yeah, also wedding stuff. I've gotten really creative with wedding stuff. Oh yeah,
very much so.
Our house has turned into a Hobby Lobby.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
But it's cool.
Yeah.
Our done pile's looking pretty good.
Yeah. There's a whole, you can't see it on the other side of this, but there's a whole to do, work on, and done thing. And then there's also audio drama crap I have
it's like a sliding mirror, and on one side it's wedding stuff, Post-its. Yeah. And then the other side is Garrett's, like...
Yeah, it's a whole
timeline. Is it a timeline?
No, it's a project, and then the scripts that make up that project. And it's a lot.
It's a lot. And then my done pile. I have a green bin full of like wedding stuff that is finished.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff. Folks, I've been pushing off stuff because it's a lot and life is very
daunting.
Life is very busy right now, and I've been working on another project. I marked up a script that my friend of the show, enemy of the show, cuck of the show, Campbell Russell Troutman, he will be on at some point. He will return. Campbell Russell Troutman will return.
He will return.
He wrote a script a few years ago, and he sent it to me. I recently asked him to send me some of his work, and I thought it was really funny. I was reading it at work when I shouldn't have been, laughing as people were walking by me and staring at my phone. And I thought, oh, well, this would be a fun like short to do to dip my toe back into things. And so the hope is that we will shoot that with our friend Chris Hall. He will do the cinematography. We're figuring out the logistics, but I marked up the script, and for the first time in literal years, I did full-on storyboards, not like just kind of generic, like a couple sketches that I had done in film school.
I liked them.
I hate storyboards.
They're good, though.
I had fun with it. It's just,
I mean, they're terrible.
After a while, it just gets really tedious. Like, there's some shots I just find are tedious to draw, but I have to because Chris would prefer storyboards, which I understand, and I was able to do it.
Yeah, the visual makes more sense.
Yeah, there were some shots that I had in my head that I was like happy to draw, and then there are other ones I was like, I have to draw this.
This is stupid.
There's very tedious stuff, but it was fun. In the future, I don't know, as projects get bigger and bigger, if I will be the one always doing the storyboards. I also thought it was kind of fun. I mean, it makes sense because I would be directing it, but Campbell is an artist, and it occurred to me, I was like,
yeah, wait.
I was like, I could have asked him to do it. Like, we could have hopped on a call and like gone shot by shot, but I was like, he's busy. But in the future, I probably should just get an artist to do it, and I will excruciate. Like, I could do like a mock-up and then have an actual artist detail it a little bit more to further give Chris an idea. But for now, that was a fun process. That's kind of what kept me in the creative space the last few weeks, as I have put off finishing my one of my 1,000 scripts that I'm staring at. And we're trying still to get. I feel like I've been talking for 7,000 years about making Crusades of the Nexus. I have 2 actors that are,
Who names a character? What is it?
Her name is Deanna.
It looked like Donna.
Yeah, there was a little snafu with.
I was saying Donna so many times to a certain point where then once I thought I was done, I just hear, "Are you saying Donna from the other room?" I'm like, yeah, it's Donna. He goes, "It's Deanna." I'm like,
it's Deanna.
Who in their right mind names this person Deanna? And I had to throw all of my stuff.
I just like the name, so I used Deanna Matthews.
I either have to throw all of it away or redub over me saying Deanna with. Or Donna with Deanna. Yeah,
we do. While it's not fun to wait, I do understand because I have given a lot of actors a lot of stuff because I only have so many people, and I don't want to stretch out too far. Just knowing that, because I've said here before, I would like to compensate my cast and crew, and I just don't need to keep adding names to a list. But we're very close to the end. I just have to wrap those 2, and then there's a few background and minor roles that just have to have. I'm just gonna have friends pop in and do. But we're very, very close. I hate that I keep saying that because I want it to be done. I want to get into the edit. I want to get it out there. But hopefully, sooner than later, we will have that up and running, and we can start publicizing it and talking about it. And I'm hoping to launch a campaign to help support the production costs, because it's been a labor of love, but I very much am proud of it, and I want it to get out there, and I'm banking on there being an audience for it, because there's a lot. Like I said, I'm staring at all the scripts there. There's already an entire second volume was already written, and I was gonna say some people, but Campbell has already started recording. He's already started recording volume 2. Because he's been very, very, very. He was maybe he was more ahead of schedule than me.
I think he's just very excited for it.
Oh yeah,
he's having more fun with it.
I'm not at the point where I want to talk a ton of details, but he's playing many characters, as many people in this are. I myself, in the first volume alone, I think I'm playing like 4 characters.
Something like that.
I have 4 characters, and 3 of them are leads. Oh wait, 4 characters. No, 5 actually. 5? Yeah, I think I'm playing like 5 characters. 3 of them are leads. I'm dying. As you can tell, it's taking its toll. It's a lot. And Campbell, I think, is playing more. I think he plays a character in all.
He's playing everything.
He's pretty much. If I could have had him play everything, he probably would be.
Campbell's just doing it all.
He's playing everything. He's playing a very, very important character. To the point that he has recorded stuff for the first volume. We have a special that I'll get more into that when the crowdfunding stuff comes up. He has recorded lines for that already. He started recording for volume 2, and he might have, as I'm staring at stuff that I'm writing currently, he has a lot of stuff on his plate, and he is already he is ahead of he is so ahead that I feel like I have to write material fast enough to keep up with him, because he's playing many characters, but there is a very, very important character that he is playing that ties pretty much everything together, and he's knocked it out of the park to the point where I made him an executive producer on the series, just because he has gone far and beyond anything that I expected, much to the chagrin of his friend and roommate Chris Hall, who hates that he has an executive producer credit. I just how the cookie crumbles. Yeah, we're our executive, or I can't remember exactly which thing I gave him, because I was like, well, he maybe not executive, but
Campbell's like Trina from Victorious. It's the one woman show.
Yeah, I mean, he, like I said, I might get to the point where maybe I just write a whole episode that is just him.
It's just all Campbell.
It is literally to the point where I'm like,
could be like the Citadel of Campbell's. Campbell and Campbell. Chris and Campbell.
Look, there's a reason why people play multiple roles. It's not just the plug and play. I won't go into too many details, but there's a reason why people play multiple roles, and I'll just say that. Besides it being an anthology, and I just need people. But that is, as far as creative stuff goes, that's really at the moment all we got kind of going on. We got wedding stuff, as we've said. That's a lot.
Home stretch.
We're in the 90s at this point. Days still.
3 months.
Don't date it. I didn't say the specific number.
I just said 3 months.
Okay, well, I saw you look over at the number.
I wasn't going to say the number, but I also realized that that's not correct either.
Okay, well, that's why I said, the 90s.
We have a counter.
Yes. It's right over there.
Got from my sister.
It's very nice.
It's a gift. It's very sweet.
But yeah, we're focused on that and dealing with that, and that's, priority.
Well, if you say dealing with it, like, it's
I mean, it's a lot to do.
No, it is a lot. Like, no, I mean, there is a lot of, like, stuff. I've been, like, checking in with my aunt.
Yeah.
Just every time, because she's been, like, the anchor of, like, okay. Because she's done 3 weddings. And this will be her 4th because of all my cousins.
Yeah.
But, so she, I mean, like, clearly knows what she's talking about and can help me with everything. And she knows that my brain is just always, like...
Yeah.
And so... she checks in and everything, but when we were talking yesterday, I'm like, I just can't shake the feeling that I'm forgetting something. Yeah. Even though, like, we literally have, like, not even that many things. Yeah. Some of which we can't even do until, like, 10 days before our wedding. Yeah. So it's like, there's really not anything left, like, huge, which is weird. But it's like, I can't help but be like, what am I missing? What are we forgetting? Like, that's where I'm at in it now, because I've gotten, like, all the little stuff and all the, like, little things that it's like, oh, it's fun. But, like, we knocked out a lot of the major stuff really early on. I think my dress was the first. I got my dress before we picked out the venue. Yeah. I'm pretty sure you even got your suit before you... No. No, but, or, like, recently. Before we... Oh, no, yeah. It was more recent. But, I don't know. Like, it's just crazy that you would think, like, all the... major stuff would be, because some people have issues with, like, just finding their dress like until the very end, but I don't know, it's been fun, but now I'm more so just, I'm in the spot now where now I'm wondering what we're gonna do with all this crap after it's all said and done.
It's a lot of stuff.
So much stuff.
It's a lot of stuff. As I said, this is we're recording this in the midst of we're running time. Well, I mean, like, literally, like, if you see me looking over my shoulder to look at the time, I literally have to go to work after this. Oh, yeah. And I'm also going out of town after work, so I have to prepare for work and prepare for going out of town, and I haven't had a meal.
That's true, yeah.
I've only had water. That being said, because what I wanted to ask you is something I started to do this year. I used to have a pop culture podcast, Master of the Media / Masters of the Media, rest in peace, King. I can't do pop culture podcasts anymore. I just can't do it. But something I like to spotlight on this show are stories that get me through the struggles. Because, I ever since I've come back, I've tried to do that. It hasn't happened every time. But, like, obviously, the first episode back, I just talked about Michael Mann movies and how I just love Michael Mann and I worship his filmmaking style. That being said, there's 2 that I wanted to bring up that you and I both have seen recently that I think have been stories that, one made us go back to the theater. You usually don't see movies multiple times in the theaters.
No.
So those two movies I want to talk about were Sinners and Thunderbolts. I just wanted to get we're not gonna go into we're not. This isn't like a like a review. This is just these are stories that have meant to us a lot to us recently. We've talked about, been sending memes and TikToks and different things about. So I wanted to give you. I'll let you go first. I mean, either or you start with either one. But
where do I even begin? No, I mean obviously Sinners has just been insane. We've both been listening to the soundtrack since we went and saw it the first time. Like, you're about to go see it for your third time.
Yes, I have. I was really bummed. I work very close in the vicinity to a 70mm IMAX screen, and I was really bummed. Because I could not get tickets for it because it was sold out. My good friend of the show, future guest Julian Dagnino, he was able to go see it. He had to wait till the Monday after opening weekend to even be able to get okay seats. And I really wanted to see it in that, and so I've seen it twice in just normal IMAX near us. But I got seats for the second row, 70mm, ginormous, multi-story tall screen, and I will be in the second row. I don't know what to expect. I'm a little scared, but I'm excited.
That's gonna be horrifying.
I read an anecdote of someone who saw it in the first row 70mm, and they said they thought they saw the face of God. It was how they were in it. They were so I've been training my neck. I've been practicing my seating. Basically what I'm gonna do for the video viewers. So the chair, I'm gonna assume the chair's not gonna have much give.
Right.
So I'm gonna slide my butt kind of to the end of the seat, and I'm gonna kind of sit at an angle. So I'm
So it's under your skull.
The problem people make is they look up, and so
that's why they're called the neck breakers.
Yeah, the neck tenses up. So I'm gonna scoot kind of, and I'm gonna plant my head into the seat, and I'm gonna look up. I'm gonna angle my head without having to go. I'm gonna shoot at it.
I thought that theater has pretty decent.
I mean, it's
the recliner seats.
They're not recliner seats.
No.
No, they have to, at that theater. It's a prime AMC. It's a Dolby are the ones that have recliner seats.
That's right.
And then other theaters, other AMCs have prime, which is just not as cool Dolby.
Which is
not. No offense to prime.
Well, and it's also not good considering the fact that when we went to go see it in IMAX, you would think that they would be. The second time we went to go see it in IMAX, because we took my dad.
Yeah.
He hadn't been in a movie theater in a very long time, and he wanted to go see a movie, and we said, "You have to go see Sinners. It's very good."
We're gonna see any movie this year in the theater.
And I cannot believe towards the end of the movie, because when we saw it the first time, we didn't know that there was a second end credit scene at the very end.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna.
A full post
I don't want
credit.
to. I'm not gonna spoil. No spoilers.
Yeah.
But there is two. We didn't know that the first go around. And then the second time we did. So we stayed, but as my dad was getting up to leave, he broke the chair in front of him. The backing of the chair just completely dropped down. Yeah. It just clunked down. Which honestly, for IMAX, I expected better.
Hey, relax.
I expect better. If I'm getting treated to premium visuals, I should get.
Well, it wasn't your chair. It was chair, right?
No, but that's crazy because I've never seen that happen.
He's a strong man.
But no, I have never been. Just to preface, I have never been to the movies more in my life since dating and being engaged to you. I've never been to the movie. I would go a lot as a kid, and because that's just what you would do. We have very similar upbringings in terms of just what you would do in your town, because there's not much to do in your town other than go to the movies or hang out in a parking lot and eat Jack in the Box or something. A whole thing full of movie stuff. So I would go, but not as often as we go. So I mean, oh man, just getting into it, it was probably the craziest bit of storytelling that I've seen in a very long time. Mm-hmm. And I think we definitely needed this. Because I think it's just good to have something that people can sink their, no pun intended, can sink their teeth into. Because the story and the culture that they infuse it with. I mean, clearly there's people did their research. They weren't just like, oh, well, music it's generational. It's like, no, they went in, they dove deep. And the thing that I really liked the most is they didn't just subject it to like one culture. Like, I love that they brought in like Chinese culture as well, and they were bringing like I thought it was a really well done movie, which I didn't even realize until you told me was the same director for the last Wakanda movie. Both, but yeah.
Vancouver.
Or Wakanda. I don't know why I'm saying Wakanda movies. It had Wakanda in my head.
Yeah,
yes, for Black Panther, but like, and I know those are very culture heavy as well. Yeah. But I enjoyed it a lot, and I haven't enjoyed a movie like that in a while. And then we saw Thunderbolts, which completely negated everything about. No, I'm kidding. I mean, I said this when we got in the car. I am very happy that there is a group of people, especially who are in a very high position in terms of entertainment, can really hone in on a very pressing issue and do it in a way that it makes it okay to like talk about. Because it's like, okay, well, now you're having, you know, this person and this person and this person talk about the darkest moments of their life, and they have seen some crazy stuff to make it where it's dark. Everything is dark. And I thought that it was just beautifully done of how they handle like mental health issues, like real mental health issues. And given like, this is probably not like the way that I explained it was like, they did a really good job of not needing to put a trigger warning. But I thought it was a really well done way to really bring a lot of notice to that, and to make it be like, it's okay to tell your friends that you're really bummed out one day. Like, it's not like, and given, I feel like too, we're definitely in a time and place where that's a bit more normalized than it used to be with a lot of stuff. And like, going to therapy is very normal. Go to therapy. It's very good. Like, talking with people, like being open about emotional stuff like that. I think that just kind of it further pushed everything, because also too, when you think of the fan group and like the fandom surrounding like Marvel and like Avengers and X-Men, like all that, you're not necessarily connecting one for one mental health all the time. You're thinking of like mutants and superheroes and superpowers and bad guys and this and that. So I'm really happy that that's where the story was kind of going, because like, to me, I know a lot of people who suffer with a lot of mental stuff. I myself also deal, I'm not going to say suffer because I do deal with a lot of mental stuff, as does anybody, as do you, as do whoever. So being able to kind of see that in my media that I want to consume, and it not be a reminder, but more so of like, hey, like, this is a thing, and it's cool to talk to people about it, and just know that, like, even if you think you're by yourself, you're never by yourself. Like, I don't know, but I thought it was great. 10 out of 10. Put us on a Wheaties box. Want to be on a Wheaties box.
Yeah, I would add, as far as Sinners goes, you know, that was a very, very inspiring, it really hit me, and it was just cool to see a movie about artists owning their art from artists that own their art. You know, Coogler's been making some of the best movies in the studio system. Not even just Black Panther and Wakanda Forever. Creed is one of the best movies like the last 10 years that you can. I mean, it's added. There's additive feelings you get from watching it that are conjured up if you have a history with the Rocky movies, but it's also just as good as on its own as a standalone movie as the original Rocky. Like, obviously, it would help if you know stuff, but also movie lets you know this guy had a famous dad that he never knew, and he's living in his shadow, and he wants to get out of his shadow. That movie's fantastic, and it was cool to see them, him use his blank check that he got from making those big studio tentpole movies that are based on IP and make his own original project. You know, he's talked about how, you know, the blues are a big part of his uncle was a big fan of the blues, and his uncle passed away while he was making Creed, and this movie's like a big you even see it in like the special thanks. His uncle gets a special thanks in there because it's kind of dedicated and born out of the love he had for his uncle, who was a big supporter of his. And it's just great to see, you know, a light shining a light on that culture, that time, the experience of Black people back in that time, and not even, and then bringing in, like as you said, you know, Chinese history and Chinese, what Chinese Americans were going through at that time, and then even the Irish, you know, what they had been through in the past and how their story could kind of relate to it, and the vampire, the vampirism of it all is just icing on top. Like for me, a lot of times what I like in my genre stories are I love something like Midnight Mass that is about Catholicism, religion, alcoholism, addiction. It's about all these other things.
It's about struggling.
And struggling. And the vampirism in that story is also just, all it is it's just a heightened version of like everything that they're looking at there. You know, Mike Flanagan's even talked about how his in for that story was as a kid when he was raised, I think he was raised Catholic, and they were, you know, passing around the blood of Christ and drinking that. He realized he's like, you know, he's a kid that loved these genre pulpy stories, Stephen King books, and he realized, doesn't that make us like vampires that we're drinking blood? And then it's like that was the intro to that story, and this one is being like, you know, these vampires they're blood suckers, and as much as they want to, you know, our main antagonist wants to wax lyrically about how like, oh, I'm saving people, I'm doing this, I'm letting people live forever. He's stealing stories. He's trying to make it seem like he's gonna let them go on perpetually, but he is stealing stories. He's sucking the blood sucking the life out of these stories and just keeping them on and on and on and on. And I thought it was so great. You know, the music, obviously, we talked about. The piece Grand Closing is one of the best. Like, I've been listening to it when I write, when I work out. I listen to it to hype me up on the drug word. Yeah, I love it. It is so good. It's just great to see a big IP film. It's awesome to know that, and as part of Coogler's deal, this deal that's been publicized, that in 25 years the rights for it go back to him. That's a very big and important thing for him to make this story about owning your art, and not just, you know, not Warner Brothers won't own it in perpetuity. In 25 years, it will go back to him, and he will own that art that he made, which is very important. It's a very big deal, to the point where apparently studios are scared of it, and they should be. But it's just so cool just to have a big, non-IP, just big budget film and the biggest premium screens, and it's not going to be spun off to death. It's not going to have 50 sequels. We're not going to have, you know, the Sinner's verse, and there's that meme going around.
I sent it to you. I thought it was real. I was so excited.
No, I mean, look, if Ryan had a story he'd want to tell, sure, I'd be interested. But I just love that he's like, I did this, I made this. Obviously, he's going to be making Black Panther 3. But I'm also like, I can't wait for whatever his next original film is going to be, because it's just, this movie is just knockout. I said this in my Letterboxd review when I saw it the second time. It is the movie to beat this year. Because it is an artist, you know, a studio giving an artist what they need to fully realize their vision, but also keeping their hands off and just being like, dude, do whatever. We trust you. And just everybody firing on all cylinders. Michael B. Jordan, Haley Steinfeld, just everybody is just firing on all cylinders in that movie. Music is incredible. It's like, it is movie magic. Like when you hear that phrase, I talk about movies as magic often, because that's what I think the best ones are. They are magic. Yeah. And so then there's that one that I loved, and then Thunderbolts is a different thing. You know, talking about IP. You know, I've read Marvel comics my whole life. I love the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I have, you know, some projects hit harder for me than others. I'm not one of these people that's every single time a single thing comes out, it's, we're so back. It's over. We're so back. I just think there's no point in doing that. I like what I like, and if something doesn't hit as much for me, I don't need to be a naysayer or oh my gosh, the end times are here. It's like, when you're 36 movies deep into a franchise with like 9 TV series as well, it's like, at this point, they're almost their own genre. Yeah. But what I like about this one is, again, it's Jake Schreier. They obviously, Marvel, the way they operate now is they have an idea of what they want the movie to be. Sometimes they have like it pretty charted out. They know how it's going to end, how it's going to tie into future stuff. But from what we've heard, director Jake Schreier, he just came in, he had a pitch, and they let him basically work with different writers and like kind of start over. They just said, well, we want it'll need to end this way. Yeah. And he said, okay, I have a whole pitch on what will get us to that end. I really dug it. I thought it was awesome. It's really, for me, I know people have this thing now that every single thing that comes out, it's the best since Endgame, which I think is just ridiculous.
I don't know why that's a point, like a jumping off point. It's just
people, because they think they're so hit or miss or wishy-washy now.
Yeah, I mean, like, Endgame's also not the peak, like...
Well, but it was but it's because it was the culmination of everything they built up to.
Okay.
We're everything is post-Endgame. Like, we're building up to a new finale. It's like a season finale. Yeah. It's like, this is the best episode since the season finale. If you look at, like, I'll use Andor as an example. Let's say Andor season 1 is the Infinity Saga, and Andor season 2 is the Multiverse Saga.
Yeah.
It's like, this episode is the best since the Ferrix episode of Andor. It's like kind of like that. And
they have BE and AE.
Kind of, yeah. Okay. Well, it's just like because they use a TV show model for movies, basically. Yeah. But I really dug it. It's my favorite one. It's my favorite thing since Guardians 3. Because it hit me. It hit me as hard as Guardians 3. Guardians 3 hit me on my soul. My soul felt that. But this one really tugged at my heartstrings. It really related to it, as I talked on the show. Last year I had some very, very existential struggles, and I did start to go to therapy, and so I related a lot to the character of Bob. And but no, I just thought it was really cool. I liked that it was smaller scale. It was more intimate. It was about the characters first and foremost. I'm okay with saying this just because Marvel's been okay with saying it. The new Avengers, like seeing that new team form, I feel weird saying it, but on the internet, they spoiled it. They didn't spoil it. It's not. I don't really think it's that much of a spoiler. That's not what the movie is about, really. But I just really dug it. We are a Sebastian Stan household. We have Sebastian Stan stocks. Awesome. We got those stocks early. They have paid off. I just love it. I just thought everyone did great. Florence Pugh, she's proving why she's one of the most, sought after movie stars of her generation. Yeah. And I really dug it, and I liked I also want to get on my soapbox for a second. I made a post about this on Blue Sky. You can follow me on Blue Sky if you want, or if you don't, I don't. Okay. One thing that's been bugging me about how this movie has been talked about, I'm really, really tired of people only wanting to talk about the post-credit scenes. There's a podcast I'm a fan of. I'm not gonna dox them. Who touted having a Thunderbolts review. They were multiple topics in this episode, but they touted having, first and foremost, a Thunderbolts review. They talked non-spoiler about the movie with their guests for maybe, I'll be generous, say 7-ish minutes.
Okay.
And then they went to non-spoilers, which is about 10-ish minutes, and they only talked about the post-credit scenes. They did not say a single thing about the actual movie. And when they talked non-spoilers about the movie, at most it was just people going, I really liked it. And then they talked about U.S. Agent for a couple minutes, about him being a dick. And that was all they did. And I was really bummed. And then I saw that one of the hosts basically said, like, oh, well, a review would have just amounted to us saying it's great about multiple parts of the movie, and we wanted to talk about other stuff with our guests who were out of town. And I was like, okay, but then don't call it a Thunderbolts review.
Yeah, you can't use that as the whole...
That's also one of not to I'm not trying to shoot any shots or anything like that. I'm like, that's really lame. Then don't do that in your review. Then don't just say everything's great. One of the greatest pieces of I guess not advice, but one of the greatest things one of my favorite teachers of all time, Mr. Raul Contreras, Raulito, from my high school, one of the best things he ever told me, and I use it all the time when people are trying to explain stuff, or they're writing stuff, or when they're trying to tell me about something, is, if you just said, I like it, or if they're just saying, well, we would have just said, oh, that part is great. Put some meat on that bone, is what Raul would tell me. He'd say, put some meat on that bone. Like, that, what am I supposed to glean from that? Like, I could say...
pretty good, though.
I can say, I like the movie, it's great. But I can say, I like it because it further explored a character that I find fascinating, which is John Walker. I know people just hate the character. I've always liked him. I've always liked him in the comics, and I really like White Russell, and I like his interpretation because he is just a stubborn,
he's a jerk,
rock of a man that won't move on.
That
but he is self-aware. Like that, and what I like about this movie is he is a dick at the beginning. He's a dick at the end, but he has opened up to these characters in ways that we haven't seen. We see that he likes Bucky. Like, that's been something that they established in Falcon Winter Soldier. He likes Bucky. Bucky even, having to be, trying to make changes as a senator and realizing that that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
If you know what country he's a senator for. So he has to take a more proactive role. And then even, Red Guardian just trying to be good dad, or Ghost, she does something pretty big early on in the movie. And having to realize, this thing I did to this person, that person's a lot like me. I can relate to that. Oh, I might have to change my ways. And I love that these characters... This is also another thing. Okay, now that was more of the first thing I complained about. Garrett's first complaint was about, I don't like how people cover these movies.
Yeah.
Well, actually, let me put a pin on that. This is what I also said in my post. People bemoan and complain about how other news outlets and critics and general audiences and just things like that, people online... treat these movies as if they're amusement parks or as if they're empty calories or as if they don't mean anything as art, which I don't think that's true. I think that they do mean something as art. People complain that other people don't see them that way, and yet when reviewers are given the platform to review these movies, they just want to talk about the next movie. Yeah. And so covering movies like that makes them seem like they are empty calories, they're throwaway, they're just a stepping stone to the next. Stop treating them like they're stepping stones and just treat them like a piece of art. Don't spend 20 minutes talking about Fantastic Four in a Thunderbolts spoiler section because it's just the post-credit scene, maybe at this point, if you've seen the movie, you probably know what I'm talking about. The movie itself spoiled what the post-credit scene was because of the credits spoiled what it was, but it's just interesting to see that is a thing. The other thing I was going to complain about this is actually tied to the root of the movie. Is people complaining that they're the new Avengers. That's the point. Is they shouldn't be the new Avengers.
Well,
they didn't want to be the new. The whole goal of the movie isn't we're the new Avengers. It's we're the Thunderbolts, and we don't even like that name.
Yeah.
And
the Thunderbolts name is a joke in itself.
Yeah, and then they didn't seek out. The movie isn't about these characters trying to prove themselves as the new Avengers. It's about them proving themselves as they can be good people.
Yeah.
And it just happens we're the Avengers now. It's that's also what the new Avengers have always been. If you read a comic book, I have many. Need a flex, but I've read plenty of New Avengers. Brian Michael Bendis, my boy. I can tell you my favorite lineup of the team too. My favorite lineup is in the heroic age when it's my boy Tristan Herrera can back me up on this. It's when it's Wolverine, Spider-Man, Daredevil, The Thing, Mockingbird, Luke Cage. Shout out my goat. One of the best leaders of the Avengers ever, Jessica Jones, and then Carol's on the team at that point. She's still Ms. Marvel at the time. Because that proved to me as a kid, you can be an Avenger, but you can also be an X-Man or a member of the Fantastic Four or the Future Foundation at the time. That was my favorite part of the team. But yeah, those are two stories that have gotten us through struggles. Go see them, kids. I'm seeing both of them again this week after work because I don't have to drive for an hour to 2 hours.
It's my fiance.
But folks, I think that's probably gonna do it for this week's episode. Because like I said, I have work.
We gotta go.
I have to get gas. I have not had food, and it is also very warm in here, and we had to turn off the fan because it'd be too loud. Because we care about sound quality.
Most of the time.
Did you have anything to plug or anything you wanted to send people to?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
check out Nexus things.
Keep your eye out for Crusades of the Nexus. Hopefully, you mean if you want to pre-follow there is an Instagram page, is Crusades of the Nexus. But I would mean a lot if you would like, comment, subscribe, rate, do review, do all that stuff. It would mean a lot to us. If you like the show, make sure you do that. If you didn't like the show, don't do that. You can follow the show at Not Just A Guy Pod on Instagram and TikTok. That's the only two things we ever post anything on regarding the show. If you want to follow me on my personal stuff, you have to find it. I'm not going to tell you. But that will do it for this edition of Not Just A Guy. This has been your co-host, Not Just A co-host, the co-host, Emily Cunningham. I have been your host, Not Just A Guy, the guy, Garrett Briones. And thank you for letting us talk at you. Bye. This has been a Bachelor Class production. Hosted by Garrett Briones. Edited by Emily Cunningham. Music provided by Stephen Cruz. more information, follow us at Bachelor Class.